Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, I appreciate your time as always. It is so important at this time to note that Africa is going through fundamental change from its geostrategic partners from around the world. African countries are distracted at this time with the global issues, but make no mistake, some countries across the region, specifically in Senegal, have decided that it is about time we start diversifying our relationship and, more importantly, tackle our own internal challenges. However, it is important to know that African countries are paying attention on what's happening in Beijing, Moscow, Washington, in Ankara, and more importantly, across other geopolitical partners around the world. For that reason, some countries have come to realize that some geopolitical partners have decided to become more protectionist and, more importantly, look at their own interests first. African countries like Senegal at this stage, looking at the past history of this African nation. For those of you who've been to Senegal, you will realize that despite the geostrategic position of this country and the challenges that are going on at the moment across the region, Senegal has come out clear to dive deeper into its internal issue. I'm talking about the problems in the country of Senegal, talking about the problem of congestion. If you've been to some mega cities across the continent of Africa, you will notice that one of the biggest problems that African cities face is the capital cities are mostly congested as a result of traffic. I've been to Senegal myself. I'm talking about the capital of Dakar, a beautiful city. I want to encourage you to visit that country. However, at this time, when Africa is observing the changes in the environment, and more importantly, the country of Senegal have said, we're going to go it alone. We're going to tackle this problem. We will engage. We're not going to wait for geopolitical partners to come and spoon feed us on this issue. We will engage it like never before seen. That's the reason why the country of Senegal has decided that the problem of congestion is paramount at this time. If they have to embark on an economic journey on the free movement of people, moving the Senegalese back and forth, it is important that the better communication, a better road network, the freedom of movement of people, considering other aspects, as we all have heard, that at this time, the global partners are talking about environmental protection and other things, despite them being those that have polluted the global environment and are refusing to pay for it. However, Senegal has said we're not going to wait for the $100 billion that was promised in Paris, that the South African president came and said, we haven't received the money. At this time, make no mistake, Africa, Mali, Burkina Faso, Malawi, Nigeria, Ghana, and a whole lot of countries are facing impact from global warming and call it environmental difficulties. For that reason, countries like Senegal have decided that we're going to go it alone and start resolving this problem from the inner circles. For that reason, Senegal decided to introduce the bus ride in the country of Senegal, more importantly in the capital city of Dakar. Let's play this clip.
New traffic lanes, not for cars, but for a fleet of e-buses. It now takes half as long to travel across Dakar. With tickets costing between 60 and 80 euro cents, passengers welcome the new service. With other means of transport, it takes at least 2 hours to get from Dakar city to the end of the line. And another benefit is that you feel safe on this bus. The new service is really useful because it cuts the journey times. And that's really important. The electric buses are better than cars that run on diesel or petrol. There's also air conditioning in the bus and plenty of room. Dakar's ambitious Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT project, is a public-private partnership supported with international funding. After 5 years of construction, the first e-buses were launched in 2024. The fleet now numbers 121 and connects Dakar's 14 communes. It's already had a positive effect. Now many people are leaving their cars behind to take the bus and avoid the traffic jams. This is a step towards a better infrastructure in our country. The city is now also more bike-friendly. A wide cycle path has been installed that runs parallel to the new bus lane, in a move to motivate more people to switch from cars. Ibrahima Goué has been cycling in Dakar for a long time, mainly for work, and it's not without danger. You have to weave your way between the cars, which is really dangerous for cyclists. In Senegal, people drive very recklessly. That's why I'm really happy about the new cycle pass. It's much safer and easier to avoid accidents.
As African nations, we cannot wait any longer for partners who do not have your interests in mind, because your people, your environment, your economy will depend to an extent on how free your people can move back and forth, how the goods can get into the city, and also for the motorists to move these products around. However, if the middle class that we've talked about, the burgeoning population, cannot to an extent move freely within, it has an impact in the particular productive aspect of the economy in the country of Senegal. For that reason, the Senegalese officials have decided that this issue of congestion must be tackled head-on. Roll the clip.
Dakar's e-bus infrastructure is unique on the African continent. Other major cities such as Accra in Ghana and Nairobi in Kenya are keen to follow suit. There are just too many cars on the streets of Africa's big cities. Dakar's fleet of e-buses is operated by the Senegalese company Dakar Mobilité. The state has a 30% stake in the company. The new service is part of the government's strategy to reduce gridlock and pollution in the city. The e-buses significantly cut carbon emissions and improve air quality. According to studies, the e-buses enable CO2 savings of up to 59 million tonnes per year. The fully electric buses are powered by solar-generated renewable energy. Dakar Mobilité is also responsible for servicing and maintaining the fleet. In keeping with the green concept, even water usage is sustainable. To minimise the negative impact on the environment, our new car wash system works with a machine that recycles the water. This allows us to recycle up to 80% of the water used to clean the buses. The new system has also opened up job opportunities. Mamadou Diallo is one of the 750 people who have found permanent work with the BRT. After a short retraining programme, he began working as a bus driver. At the end of his shift, he recharges the battery. Vehicles that run on diesel or petrol, combustion engines, cause noise and air pollution. With the e-buses, there's less of both. And that's also important for us bus drivers. They're better for our health. The new bus system is a huge improvement for the city. And this transformative shift has even been recognised by the International Institute for Transportation and Development Policy with its 2025 Sustainable Transport Award.
Congestion is a big problem across the continent of Africa in major cities, whether in Dar es Salaam, talking about the capital of Nigeria, Abuja, Lagos in particular. Lagos, for example, is incredible. You won't believe the amount of traffic in the country of Nigeria, talking about this economic city of Lagos. However, Nairobi has experienced the same challenges. These particular problems can be shared in a number of areas. We have to engage our own internal issues because at this time, some geopolitical partners think about themselves and you are of no value in terms of your economic growth. For that reason, you also have realized recently that the United States of America has come to realize that a lot of African countries dependent on them in terms of their particular collaboration in economic and support, as the US moves so swiftly to cut support in a number of African countries. This is a wake-up call that your particular internal problems cannot be solved by your geopolitical partners. If they can solve that, you must first of all engage those issues to move your people freely. If we talk about the African Continental Free Trade Area, it's not just going to be movement between countries and freedom of people, products and services. It should be that particular integration, should be that flow I'm talking about, should be happening within capitals. Because at the capital or the economic capital of those amazing African countries, that's where your business partners, the people coming from Kenya, coming from South Africa, Johannesburg, across the region, from Ouagadougou, including a number of countries, moving around to do business, Nairobi, traveling to other capitals. It's an incredible experience that if you go to a particular city, for those of you who continue to travel, and you realize that to move from point A to point B is a hassle. That affects the business fundamentals. It affects the performance of the employees. It affects the particular development of that particular city and the country. And this trickles down because in most African capitals, and more importantly, the economic regions, that's where most of the businesses are happening if you've been to a number of African nations. So by Senegal moving forward to tackle this problem, it is to an extent showing out clear that we understand what the problem is and you want to start engaging it as the environment has changed. Let me know what you think with regards to this particular move by the country of Senegal to have engaged in this very important project in solving the congestion challenges that we all are experiencing at the moment. It is vital to understand that at this time, Africa understand where the problem is and they have decided to take the bull by the horn. It is vitally important for the continent of African capitals to work closely to solve this problem of congestion, because if it's not solved today, the 2030, the 2045 that the continent of Africa's African Union is perceiving Africa to transform, the problem of congestion could be the biggest problem that will cost billions of US dollars without knowing. I want to thank you for watching. Kudos to the people of Senegal at this particular stage who have embraced the aspect of bus ride, who have embraced the transformation of the city, who have bought to the idea in terms of freeing communication and movement for their own people and to improve productivity in a whole lot of areas. We will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.